Okay, so welcome everybody to our team call. I'm really, really excited about this call because I always struggle with what kind of information to bring on these calls, because certainly there are lots of things that you don't need to do to have a successful business. And at the same time, if you're feeling like the things that you're doing are not bringing you the success that you want, I always want to be able to give you information that is going to, allow you to expand into something else, allow you to expand into something new, and potentially find new clients, reach new people, create new relationships, and kind of establish yourself as a little bit of an authority amongst the people that you're interacting with. And so this is one of those calls that I've been putting off for a while. So that's why I'm putting this disclaimer here. I don't believe that you have to have a blog to be successful as a coach. I don't believe that you have to have a Pinterest marketing strategy to be a successful Beachbody coach. But I would love to share with you how to use Pinterest, how to use blogging, how to use free resources to help expand your business, because I think it can be a really great tool. And if, as you're listening to this call, you feel like this is something that would resonate with your skill set, would resonate with the direction you want to take your business in, I think this can be incredible for you and for your business. So a little backstory. My business has actually grown a lot because of Pinterest and because of blogging. A lot of my coaches and clients have found me through blog posts that I've written and have put onto Pinterest. Now, when I did it back 3.5 years ago, I had no idea really what I was doing. All I knew is that I wanted to share my story, and I thought, well, everybody, Alicia found me through Pinterest. Everybody, everywhere, like when I was starting my fitness journey, I went to Pinterest to figure out how could I lose weight while breastfeeding, and I didn't find anything. And so I was like, well, let me keep searching. I found the 21-day fix, and I thought there must be other women who are searching this as well. So why don't I write a blog about it and share it on Pinterest? Now, it was accidental, right? I didn't know what I was doing, really. And I'm actually ashamed to say that it's taken me this long to become much more intentional with my Pinterest strategy. But I've just recently started an academy where I'm learning a lot more in depth how to use Pinterest. And so I'm kind of going to just be sharing a lot of this with you. In fact, I am calling this How to Use Pinterest for Your Business Part 1. So I'm going to screen share with you guys, and I'm going to pull up my slides, and I'm just going to run through part 1 of how to use Pinterest for your business. And I'm going to I know every other week we're supposed to do our calls where we have like kind of a chit-chatting time and like a roundtable discussion, but I may take next week just to continue the momentum of this call and do part 2 next week. So fair warning. Okay, so every time that I start something new, I always want to start with the end in mind. What is my end goal? And my end goal when I'm doing this is to find new people to help. So if you want to find new people to help, you always want to be thinking about that when you start something. You don't want to waste your energies doing things that other people maybe are doing without knowing what the end is in mind, because it just makes your actions a little bit less focused and less productive. So if you want to try to find new people to help, you have to know who it is you're looking for. Now, this is an activity that a lot of us have done and is very widely known in Beachbody, where you create your avatar. You create your person. You know what she likes. You know where she lives. You know how old she is, more or less. You know what kind of fashion she likes. But one of the things that I think we fail to do is we fail to drill down into what is she looking for. So you may know who your avatar is, who your girl is. You may know all these things about her, and you may be able to speak to her. But what is she looking for? And this is really important when it comes to Pinterest, because Pinterest is not social media like Facebook is or Instagram. Pinterest is a search engine. I'm going to say that again. Pinterest is a search engine. It's more like Google than it is like Facebook. People don't go on Pinterest to see what everybody's up to. They go on Pinterest to search for a specific thing, a meal idea or a birthday party idea, something like that. So you've got to know what your girl is looking for when you go onto Pinterest, because everybody on Pinterest is looking for something. Sorry guys, I'm going to just grab my charger real quick so my computer doesn't die. So once you figure out what your girl is looking for, then you're going to give her what she's looking for. You're going to give her the information that she might need. We want to serve first. I love this quote by Simon Sinek. Truly effective and inspiring leaders aren't actually driven to lead people. They are driven to serve them. We always want to be serving people. So, what are your girl's pain points? Where can you serve her? What brings her joy? What will make her life better and easier? If we aren't serving our clients, then we aren't actually doing a good job as coaches. In my last team call, I was talking about leadership, and I talked about this. Leadership is serving others. So I want you to do something for me right now. Yes, this is an interactive call tonight. I want you to think up of one resource that you could create that would serve your client. Where does she struggle? Just right now, think of something. Where does your girl struggle? What is a pain point for your girl? And how can you serve her? Here is a list of ideas, potential ideas. And I want you to pick one or create one of your own and type it in the chat when you've come up with it. I'm going to give you a few minutes. It could be a worksheet. It could be a customizable guide or a template for creating meal plans or creating a schedule each day. It could be a calendar download. It could be a manifesto. It could be something inspiring from your personal development that you make into a beautiful little sheet and she can print out and put up on her refrigerator when she's tempted to eat and snack late at night. It could be a background or a screensaver for her phone. It could be a product roundup, your favorite healthy snack roundup that you get at Aldi or wherever. So just kind of look through these ideas. Some of them are more elaborate than others. It doesn't have to be elaborate, but whatever calls out to you. It could be a newsletter subscription or an inspiring quote of the day. It could be a content planning template where you teach her how to make a chore chart for her kids. What is your girl struggling with? And put it in the chat what you are going to make. Okay, I can't see the chat because I'm on screen sharing mode. But I'm going to wait until I see at least 3 messages in my chat. I can see that there's one there because I want all of you to hold yourselves accountable and type out right now or write down right now what it is that you are going to create to serve your girl. A meal plan can definitely be in there. A free book if you want to create a book. And later in this call, I'm going to show you how you're actually going to make these things. So don't feel like, oh, I would like to do that, but I don't know how. Don't worry. I'm going to walk you through how to do it. It could even be like a case study or a podcast that you really love that you're going to serve your client with. Okay, so now that you've written that down, we're going to get to work. Okay, good. I see three. I'm going to look back when I'm done with the call and see what you guys wrote. So let's get to work. We're going to keep it simple, and there's really 4 things you need to do when you create this thing that's going to serve your client. You need to create a place where you can distribute this resource. Then you need to create the resource itself. Then you need to promote that resource, and finally, follow up with everyone who received your resource. Those are the 4 things we're going to do. So let's go to the first one, creating a place for your resource. There has to be a place where people go to receive it or to ask for it or to apply for it. And there's a few places you can do that, a blog, a website. You could do a Facebook page. It's a little bit tricky with that, but you could hack it, or an email list. So there are pros and cons for each of these. A blog is relatively easy to set up, especially if you use Blogger. It kind of walks you through step by step. There are lots of, you can look on YouTube. I think Michael Hyatt has like set up your blog in 20 minutes tutorial. 20 minutes, you can get a blog set up. So blogs are great because you can embed files into your blog and people can just click it and it'll download directly to them. They're also great because you can, put a little about you section if they want to learn more about you and not just get a resource, but actually start to develop a relationship, which we're going to talk about as well. So blogs are awesome. A website is great as well. You can put a ton of stuff on a website. It's a little bit more complicated to create, but it's a great place to have that resource live. A Facebook page is kind of difficult. I'm actually not sure if you could put a resource on your Facebook page, but you could certainly make it so that your Facebook page is somewhere where people can apply to receive it via email. And I can't get into all of it right now, but if you do have a page, like a business page, there's even ways where you can create little ads and it says, learn more or get my free ebook. And then when they click it, it kind of allows you to follow up with them. So that's definitely a potential place. And then an email list as well. There are certain email lists that will actually create an opt-in page for you. And all an opt-in page is, it's just a page where people give you their email address. And when they click send, automatically in their inbox, they get your resource. So think through, as you're looking at this, which one sounds like it might be best for you. And again, you don't have to know how to do it all. I'm going to walk you through that later. The next thing, once you have that place, we've got to put the resource in it. So a couple of places that I like to go to create my resources. Number one for me is Canva. Canva is incredible. Canva.com is where you can go and you can create beautiful things on Canva without needing to be a graphic designer. They have a lot of free templates. They also have ones where you have to pay, but usually it's between $1 and $3, which to me is well worth the investment to create something that is beautiful. That's where you could create a worksheet. You could create an ebook. You could create a checklist. You could create anything that would be a PDF, like a document, a printable, a quote of the day. You could make it on Canva and it looks gorgeous. Another place that you can create a resource is on a Google Doc. If you wanted to just make a Google Doc and just make it clean and simple, no fancy stuff. iMovie is great to make videos. If you're going to do a daily video or something that involves videos, I just use my iPhone. The iPhone cameras are incredible these days. They're actually HD quality. And you could create some really amazing videos. You could also use Flipgram, which is an app from the iPhone that can kind of splice videos and photos together. There's plenty of them out there. And then ConvertKit, MadMimi, and MailChimp, those are all email distribution services that you can start building an email list where people give you their email and then you can send them your resource, or they give you your email and then they become a part of your email newsletter list. So that's where you can create that resource. And then promoting your resource. So this is where I guess this call isn't quite so much about Pinterest as I would have liked it to be, but I realized that before I can actually teach you guys how to use Pinterest to draw people into you, we've got to have something to put on Pinterest itself. We've got to have something to pin. And so that's why this is kind of part one of how to use Pinterest for your businesses. We've got to think of who we're serving, what would serve them, make something that would serve them, and then we're ready to go on Pinterest and put it out there for people to start to find and use. So obviously pinning it to Pinterest, sharing about it on Facebook. You can share about it on Facebook with a post with a photo, a live video, or in a group. You can share that resource wherever is appropriate. If you have pinned it to Pinterest, which you absolutely should, you would want to put on Facebook, here is where you can access, and here is where you can pin it for later. I always do this with my blog posts. I have two links, one link to my blog post and one link says pin it for later, because sometimes, I don't know about you guys, you're scrolling through Facebook and you see something that's, oh, I'd really love to read that. I'd really love to see that. I'd really love to, take a look at that, but I can't right now. So if someone had a link that said pin it later, I would say, yes, I'm going to pin it later. I know it's in my pin board and I can go back and see it when it's convenient for me. And so I always like to do that. It's just a little extra step. but it does help people to pin my stuff more often all over Pinterest. The next way that you can promote it is on Instagram. You can do a post, you can do an Insta story, and then of course you can promote your resource by sending out an email broadcast. The last step is to connect with this person who now has your free resource. There are a couple ways that you can connect with them. They can either fill out a form. Google Forms is one of my favorite forms because it looks nice. It's easy to choose all of the questions that you want to have. And then Google Forms automatically puts all the information into a spreadsheet for you. So you get people's email addresses, you get, whatever information you want to ask from them. Maybe you want to ask them what their favorite workouts are or what their guilty pleasure is when it comes to eating unhealthily. And just the more information that you have on the people who are using your resources, the better you can connect with them later. You always want to be able to reach out to these people who are reaching out to you. So you can have them give you their email through that opt-in page like I was telling you guys about, or leave you a message or a comment on Facebook, somewhere where you can take their name and keep track of who you're connecting with. So if somebody does just send you a message on Facebook or put a comment on Facebook, you've got to now do the extra work of taking that and putting it into a spreadsheet and making sure now that okay, Sally asked me for this resource and I emailed it to her, and I'm going to write her name down or put it in a spreadsheet so I can follow up with her later, so I can make sure that I'm connecting with her later. So these are the 4 steps that we want to do. And now, how does Pinterest work into all of this? So Pinterest is that search engine, like I was saying, where people can find the resources that we are creating. And again, it can be as simple as a blog post. One of my favorite ones that is on this idea list is, where is it? Some sort of thing that says like my biggest mistakes or something, where you write down, here we go. The biggest mistake I made. Oh gosh, I'm messing this whole thing up. The biggest mistake I made. And, maybe you just write a blog post that's the biggest mistake I made in trying to get healthy, or the biggest mistake I made exercising with kids. People need to laugh as well. It doesn't all have to be serious and like this really great like ebook. It could just be, here are some 5 mistakes I made when I tried to work out with my daughter. Number 1, I didn't give her a snack. Number 2, I did it too close to nap time. Just giving really helpful ideas that even have some humor in them and kind of show that we make mistakes too. Just the great things that people might love to see when they're on Pinterest. So now you're going to be putting it up on Pinterest. It is a search engine. So a couple of tips: do not give it a cutesy little name. I know it's so it's so easy to want to just be creative with our blog titles or with the titles of our resources. But the truth is, people are not going to be searching on Pinterest for whatever creative out of the box name you gave. They're going to be searching the most direct thing that they can. So if they want to know, how do I work out at home with small kids? They're going to say at home workouts with small kids. And so if you were to create a resource that was the biggest mistakes I made working out at home with kids, those keywords, at home, workout, kids, are going to be there. You want to make sure that the most basic, you just want to get your mind in that person who is searching on Pinterest. What would they search for? When I wrote my blog post about losing your weight while breastfeeding, I wrote, lose the weight, not your milk. And then the little tagline was like, working out and getting healthy while breastfeeding. So I'm trying to put all the basic words that people would search for when they're trying to find this. And so don't feel like you have to be creative. Keep it, the simpler you can keep it, the more searchable you can make it, the more people are going to find your pin. So you're going to put some of your resources out there. I would suggest, maybe try over time to come up with 5 or 6 at a minimum of resources that you can put out there. Those can be blog posts. They don't all have to be like an ebook or a worksheet or whatever, but whatever you can, throw that out there onto Pinterest. Keep it simple. Use searchable links. Create eye-catching photos. Pinterest is incredibly visual. I don't know about you guys, but the pins that I'm drawn to the most are the ones that are aesthetically pleasing. So use Canva or use beautiful photos, the best that you can. Keep the fonts really clean. Keep them really simple and easy to read. Again, you want this to be like a search engine, very searchable and very easy for people to know exactly when they see your pin. Like if it's a food thing, make that food look delicious. Like stick it near a window, clean white background, whatever you can do to make it as appealing as possible. Once people click on it, once people get your resource, the first order of business, I always thought the first order of business was to like share with them more great information and you get them to think like, oh man, Vanessa has the best stuff. And you do want to continue to give value to whoever it is that is beginning this relationship with you after they connect on Pinterest. But one thing that I'm learning is you want them to connect with you first and foremost and build that relationship. And so the first thing you want to do after somebody requests your free resource, we call them freemiums. So I'm just going to call them freemiums from now on. And you guys know what I'm talking about, the worksheet, the blog post, whatever. You want to introduce yourself to them. I don't know, I can't tell you how many times I have downloaded some freemium from somebody else's blog. Maybe it's a grocery list template and it's just as simple as my groceries and it has a bunch of lines underneath it. Like those are things that I've downloaded from other people's blogs and they're so simple and easy. You could do that yourself. But people need them, right? You need a list to write out your groceries. But I can't tell you how many times I have downloaded something from someone and I have their template, but I don't know who this person is. I don't know their story. I don't know their blog. I have no desire to follow their blog because I know nothing about them. I'm thankful for the grocery list and I've printed it off and I've used it 100 times, but my relationship with that person has not progressed past that white sheet of paper with beautiful fonts on it. That's all I know about them. And that's just not enough in our business to really be able to create the kind of impact we want to on other people. So the very next thing after you've given someone your resource is send them an email introducing yourself. And now this can be something that you've written up once and you just, it's a template. You don't have to retype it every time. But I've created a new one. I just recently did this. And it's just a little bit about me. It's, hey, my name is Vanessa. Thank you for reaching out to me. I'm a mom of 4. I'm a homeschooler. You can find me most days. I love this sentence. You can find me most days and then fill in the blank. But instead of just using generic things like, oh, I love faith, fitness, and fashion. Like that's just so like faith, fitness, and fashion. That's so overarching. So instead I said, you can find me most days enjoying time with my children, sitting on the floor, playing Legos with my son. Like I've created a little picture into my day. I'm sitting on the floor playing Legos with my son. I love anything with feta cheese on it and a good ankle boot. So I'm taking super specific things. Instead of just saying fashion and food, I'm saying feta cheese and a good ankle boot. The more specific that you can take it and share about who you are and what you love and where you live, any little detail. Maybe you have a beautiful oak tree in your front yard that you love to sit under. Like create that picture where someone could actually see you doing that. Maybe you love playing with your puppies. What color are your puppies? Are they rambunctious and crazy or are they like lazy and snuggly? Creating that picture starts to draw you as a friend of someone who has gotten your freemium, helps you build that relationship with them. So that was a really cool exercise for me to I kind of knew generally what I was about, but when they asked me to really pare down to a specific, that helped me a lot. And I think that's going to create a better connection with people who I'm trying to serve. It's hard to serve someone if they don't know you or want to know you. And so after you've given them that freemium, make sure that you send them just a hey, welcome email, thanking them and sharing a little bit about who you are and why you do what you do. So that is our part 1. I have so much more I want to share, but I don't want to get into it yet because I want to be able to finish the next section that I start with you guys. But I hope this has been helpful as we kind of think beyond just Facebook and hey girl messages and invites. There is a whole other world where we can really build relationships, we can serve others, we can start establishing ourselves as somewhat of an authority. There's just something that happens when someone comes in and meets you directly from Pinterest, and then they go to your blog, and then they see your story, and then they get a welcome email from you. It's a different entry than a Facebook friend. And this entry seems to me to be one where they're already entering into your world, seeing you as someone who is somewhat of an authority on the subject and someone who really wants to serve and help and mentor them. And so that's just a really great place to enter into a relationship with someone. If you can capitalize on that, I think you can see like amazing success to build your business and to help other people. So I'm going to stop the recording now.